Good morning, Chris. I'm at Miramar Beach Access 49 here in Walton County, and today is a pretty big day. The beaches are fully reopened for the first time in more than a month. And while some residents are happy, some are not. And one of those people is Walton County resident and Florida lawyer Daniel Ohlfelder. Today he's going to be protesting the beaches being open, all while dressed as the Grim Reaper. And I'm actually joined by him now. I'm going to step out of the frame and hand him the mic so he can explain why he's here and why he is dressed the way that he is. Daniel?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm here today to try to make a point that we need to, I think it's premature that we open our beaches. I'm a huge proponent of public beaches, and I've been fighting for that for years, but I think that the danger of bringing all the people here to our area and spreading the virus, and I think it's going to prolong the recovery we have, and I think that we should take better measures, and it's drawing people from all over the world to our beautiful beaches. It's too soon, and it's not appropriate.
Thank you, Daniel. Now, Daniel is going to be beginning his protest right now, and he's going to be at a bunch of other Walton County beaches throughout the day. We're going to have his full story and how people are reacting later tonight on News 13. Reporting live in Miramar Beach, Faith Graham, News 13, Panhandle Strong.
Death to all you Americans who wish to enjoy some nice sunny days at the beach. A curse. A pox on your house. XD. Welcome to Teh Daily Neko. News you can mostly trust. Straight from the kitten's paw. Today I finded some nice online issues. They're pretty short stories, so I figured I could string together a few topics. Let's begin on Reclaim the Net. By Didi Ronkovic on April 30th, 2020. Activists create No Pixels for Fascist campaign, maligning gamers and YouTubers as fascist enablers. Campaign supported by EA and others. Gamers continue to be the problem. Why have we not arrested them all? The real reason for all our suffering is because of these gamer bros. Honestly, Hitler was probably influenced toward fascist ideology because he played online with some fascists, and then he took that to heart as chancellor. If you really think about it, Cain probably killed Abel because Cain played online video games. Enough is enough. We must stop the threat of gamers from encroaching into our civilized societies. Activists in Germany are again attempting to create narratives that the gaming community, particularly online, is rife with bigots and bigot behaviors, such as racism and misogyny. The frustration of having such a large community that is unwilling to bend to their agendas is becoming too great, and they're back for another attack. It's now getting taken a step further with references to fascism. The campaign is strongly titled No Pixels for Fascists, and in the words of its representative Pascal Wagner, it is a network of bloggers, journalists, podcasters, YouTubers, developers, and others who are uniting against what is described as anti-democratic and inhumane gaming trends. Wait, hang on a second. If you're fighting against anti-democratic trends, then I assume you are taking votes for what is and isn't humane or acceptable online? I didn't get to vote. I demand a revote. I should be free to make Hitler jokes and Nazi jokes and Soviet jokes and Gulag jokes online. I think most people would be clever enough to understand jokes in online games. As for those who are actually hateful and sexist and racist online, I had a good solution. It's called the mute button. If that feature isn't in the game, then take it up with the developers. Specifically, the group aims to tackle those it considers to be Nazis, homophobes, sexists, and the like, who they say are using games and gaming to advance their cause. According to Wagner, the campaign is promoting anti-racist, LGBTQIA+ friendly and feminist game culture and wants to push back against its designated targets, both online and offline. Wait, that's not fair either. The Tumblr people and the pronouns in bio crowd would call me all those things. I think you guys need to rethink your strategy, cause I highly doubt you have people like me, who disagree with much of the loud voices in the online LGBT space. In another write-up about the new German campaign, blogger Michelle Jansen, who seems to specialize in the language police segment of the movement, speaks about what she perceives as the negative influence of YouTubers. According to Jansen, people can be accused of being supporters of right-wing ideas even if they don't actually espouse them. It's enough to use right-wing rhetoric, or to allow members of your own community to do so, i.e., not exercise censorship diligently enough. YouTubers need to be aware that they have as much, if not more, influence as television, radio and other popular online media. They are no longer individuals who make problematic jokes in small circles, but propagate to millions of young people and young adults that such things are not only not right, but acceptable and normal. Statements and jokes with right-wing rhetoric do not make you a Nazi, but they support the normality of these things, which are pushed ever further into our society, especially from the right, especially in gaming circles. They help right-wing organizations and groups to be classified as normal and harmless. I love how people like this completely ignore the agency of individuals. If you think that simply exposing someone to these ideas will instantly convert them into a Nazi, then I don't think you've ever interacted with another person, or at least, a person capable of pushing back against alternative ideas. Haven't you guys ever had a disagreement with friends or family? Surely by now you'll have at least a little experience and not instantly believe someone else's words without question, right? If, as you say, we are not exercising censorship diligently enough, then I guess to you, human beings are simply a sponge, or a chameleon, that simply soaks up information or imitates what it sees without putting an ounce of thought into what they're seeing or hearing. While I might concede that it may be possible that education has gone to shit, and that maybe people are less capable of critical thinking these days, I still do not believe that censorship is the answer. I think censoring dumb Nazi jokes will only make things worse. Because people are curious, and kids are super curious. If you hide it from them, they're going to try to figure out what you don't want them to see. If we allow dumb Nazi shit out publicly, then we'll also have a higher chance of people publicly coming out against and arguing against those views. Another point, let's not forget that the number of actual Nazis is continuing to drop dramatically, and this has happened with or without our censoring Nazi imagery or documentaries or World War II video games. I would think that a better alternative for you guys in this movement would be to have a video, or even a series of videos, with reputable sources and historians. These would be third-party individuals who are not paid by you or your partners, and who make short, informative clips about the dangers of Nazism, fascism, and how we live in a society that cherishes the rights, lives, and value of all individuals, regardless of any part of their identity. That, as well as the idea of fascism, would not be a foreign concept to Anatol Kahane, founder of one of the main backers of No Pixels for Fascists, the Amadou Antonio Foundation. During the Cold War years, Kahane was an informant of East Germany's secret police, Stasi. No Pixels for Fascists is today also supported by the German government, and endorsed by gaming giant Electronic Arts. When will EA just stop shitting the bed? Make Firestorm free, you fucking assholes. I want to fight more players. There's another censorship topic from Reclaim the Net that I wanted to cover. There's not too much new information, but it's nice to know that internet archives are super useful. This piece also written by Didi Ronkovic, on May 2, 2020. Apparently, internet archives are a villain, preventing activists from fully censoring content they object to. Spare a thought for the censor who spends all day trying to get content censored online, only to realize it's already been archived. It's almost as if the human cost of the pandemic is secondary to some minds, not just the lives, the jobs, and the civil liberties lost due to it. All some seem to care about is a carefully curated political and ideological message. And TLDR, we don't live in the age of 3 or 4 authoritative corporate broadcasters. We live in the age of the internet. The people have a voice and it deserves to be heard. Before actual facts are known and confirmed, who has the right to say what misinformation, scam, and conspiracy really is, and could be? Nevertheless, the reality is that what matters to the author of a piece published by the MIT Technology Review here is to make sure not COVID itself, but COVID hoaxes are killed. Dead. Offline. Forever. We're used to the likes of Facebook, Twitter, and L, getting pressured and caving in, but have you ever heard of such a warrior going after none other than the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine? What these people mean is that one of the greatest gifts that the digital age has given us, archiving and the Internet Archive's Wayback Machine, that preserves for humanity the snapshots of what appeared on the World Wide Web in the past, can't be effectively censored as of now. All of the work that journalists are putting into getting content scrubbed from the internet is being preserved by the Internet Archive, giving people an effective and simple way to still link to it. And what panic that must cause for the censors. Hey, just a thought, guys. Maybe instead of trying to censor things, find out the correct data and information instead. That way, instead of saying everything is a hoax, you can use the information you've collected to demonstrate how deadly or contagious viruses are. Also, if you guys want a job, I got one for you. Go ahead and find, and then delete, all the times the Surgeon General of the US, Jerome Adams, told people not to wear face masks. Keep in mind, he was saying these things in February and March, after we already knew COVID had a 2-week asymptomatic incubation period, where people could still be COVID spreaders. And keep in mind it was January that the World Useless Organization said there's no human-to-human transmission. Shruggo. Guess who's wrong now? Good thing you can't delete all this information, so now we can see how wrong and late people were in their response to the pandemic. Now we can hold people accountable, thanks in part to the fact that we still had a record of what they've said. Diva Gremlin. Anyway, good stuff from Reclaim the Net. And also it turns out they're a Brave verified creator. Nice. Have some monies. Here, 10 bad. Maybe this'll be $2 by the time it gets to you guys. Keep up the great work. So for the last quick topic, I wanted to cover the shutdown of Wii U and 3DS eShop services in July. Nintendo has formally announced that owners of those systems in select regions will soon no longer be able to redeem download codes, redownload software or update software. Nintendo also mentions that any software that requires the limited Nintendo eShops to operate may cease to function. The wording here is key. Nintendo has noted that this closure will be of limited Nintendo eShops. These are eShops that are hosted for smaller countries. As a result, the closure will only be for the eShops in Latin America and the Caribbean, minus Mexico and Brazil, and here's the list of affected countries. Soon enough we'll all be old as fuck and our Steam libraries will be dead. Good thing I at least still had my Game Boy Advance SP and my copies of Pokemon's Red and Blue and Silver, and good thing I still had a couple of other systems and physical games. Now, I ain't saying you should download your games by some alternative method, but you may have to. I'm not promoting anything illegal here, I'm just thinking out loud. If only there were some way to get my digital games without having to require a license that could get revoked at any time. Crying face. Well, just something for you guys to keep in mind. Don't forget you can support me in several ways. Use Brave for the free way to support me. Ooh. Have a good start to your week, and thanks for watching. Remain vigilant, and don't get trolled out there. Suck my dick, faggots.
Between us and the U.S., the Tommies that come into our country, like, are they really any different than us in France? You know what I'm saying? Because to them, we're just regular people. It's like, you know, we got 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes. The only difference between them and us is that we killed you. But they, I'm tired of all the judgment.
Whoa!
I'm tired of
What the?
Hey!